What is up, YouTube? Zuki M1 here, and I am back with a brand new YouTube video. I know I uploaded those Blue Hunter videos on the channel, but that's a separate thing, basically just showcasing that game. We're gonna stick to the regularly scheduled program. By the way, if you guys haven't already, definitely consider hitting the subscribe button. I promise you it doesn't bite, and it does this little cool thing when I say subscribe where the button starts flashing, you know, so you should definitely hit it. Anywho, today we are going to be covering I don't know how you're supposed to say the name of the Digimon, but it's like Agron or it's the green guy. This guy. Argomon. There we go. Argomon. There we go. I got it eventually. But yeah, we're gonna be covering Argomon. This is my current list for the deck. This is the one that I found the most success with, and I want to showcase this for you guys today. So let's go ahead and go through the deck profile in the usual fashion. We're going to cover the Digitamas, the rookies, the champs, the ultimates, and then the megas, then the champions and options. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. We are running 5 eggs in this deck because we have the Ukomon package in here, and if you run any Ukomons in your deck, you know that you're going to run through your eggs very fast. So you definitely want to be able to make sure that you always have something queued up to be able to move up for the following turn, just due to the Ukomon's effect. So we're going to be running the original BT2 Argomon, which is when this Digimon becomes unsuspended during your unsuspend phase, gain 1 memory. Pretty good, but you really just use it because it has Argomon in name. Next, we are using the Argomon from BT17. It has the effect, while this name is Argomon, it gains blocker during your opponent's turn only. So very good card to have some more defensive options within your deck. Next, we are running the Kudomon. Kudomon has the effect of on play, by suspending this Digimon, you can reveal the top 3 cards of your deck and add 1 green card amongst them to your hand and return the rest to the bottom of your deck. So it's a great amount of search. And what's cool about this particular rookie that is unique to this one specifically, that doesn't exist on any other rookies, is that this allows you to grab any green card. Specifically, as you read it, it says 1 green card. So you can grab an option, you can grab a Digimon, you can grab a Tamer, and if you haven't noticed, everything in the deck except Ukomon is green. So everything is a option for the Kudomon to be able to grab. So whatever you need, you can always get off the Kudomon's on play effect. Next, we are going to be running the Argomon. Argomon has the effect of on play, reveal the top 3 cards, add an Argomon in 1 rhythm. That is this Tamer right here. And then return the rest to the bottom of your deck. So it's a double hitter, which also has the inheritable of on deletion, gain 1 memory. You're going to be doing that a lot in this deck, not because of your own volition, of course, but when you do die, you gain something back in return, which I really do appreciate in this deck because it punishes your opponent for trying to punish you, right? And that is the type of resiliency that you need in a lot of modern decks to be able to make sure that you have some way of bouncing back. Now, granted, this effect happens during either time that it's deleted. So let's say you swing into security and then it dies, you can gain a whole bunch of memory back. Or if you have to deal with your opponent deleting your big Digimon, you can also gain a whole bunch of memory back, stealing the turn. So it has a lot of versatility. Obviously, it's super susceptible to anything that involves bouncing or returning back to hand or putting to the bottom of the deck, obviously. So anything like that will hurt. De-digivolving obviously also hurts. So those are clear counters to how to deal with the Argomon. But outside of those 3 mechanics, which, to be perfectly honest, there aren't really a lot of decks that has any type of I guess, immunity to those types of things, right? And doesn't get affected by it. It's just this deck is super susceptible to de-digivolving, bouncing, yeah, or source stripping. Source stripping hurts this deck a lot too. But that's those. Now on to the next and final rookie. We have the Ukomon. Ukomon has the effect when a Digimon moves from the breeding area, search the top 3 and add either a Digimon card or a tamer, and then place the rest to the bottom of your deck. So this allows you to just grab whatever you need at that moment. Yeah, I mean, there's just no other way to put it. It just allows you to grab whatever you need at that moment so you can go ahead and continue your plays. Next, we are running the 4 Argomons from BT3. No, sorry, BT2. It has Digizorption for 2, and that's the whole effect. It has no inheritable. You really just use this to like try to climb up as soon as possible, because you can Digizorp the Digimon you're going to Digivolve into, or you can Digizorp another Digimon on your side of the board if you have another face-up Digimon on your side of the board. Then we have 4 copies of the new Argomon from BT17. It has the effect of when Digivolving, if you don't have a rhythm in play, you can play one without paying the cost. Which is really cool because it doesn't matter how many Mimis you have face up on your side of the board, you can still slam a rhythm at any point in time as long as you don't have one. So that's really cool that they synergized it that way. And then it also has the inheritable on deletion, gain in memory, similar to the other Argomon. And you're going to see a trend of that happening, right? Where this gives you on deletion gain 1, this has on deletion gain 1, right? So now whenever my dude dies, I can gain a bunch of memory because your level 6 is going to put more of those Argomons in its sources. So when it dies, you gain way more memory than what you would have. So yeah, this card is really good. It's very cheap when you Digivolve over an Argomon. It only costs 2, but if you Digivolve this over the Kudomon, you will be having to spend the entire 3. Now this Argomon does synergize with any of the greens, so you can use this over the Kudomon to get it for free, and then Digivolve into the current Argomon or the one copy of the Argomon and go into like a super cheap line essentially. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's continue. Next we're going on to the ultimates. The ultimate Argomon is probably one of the best cards that came in this deck for them. It's not the best, but it's definitely up there. It's probably, yeah, like it's really, really good. So we're gonna go over everything about it. First things first, by suspending up to 5 tamers, granted, it's not just your tamers, both sides. So you can tap your opponent's tamers, you can tap your tamers to reduce the Digivolution cost of this guy by every single tamer that you did. So potentially you can make this a completely free Digivolution without having to suspend anything on your side of the board. That in itself is absolutely insane, especially considering that you can turn off some tamers effects because they're suspended now during your turn before you swung. So if you're going against security control, or you're going against a deck that kind of needs their tamer to be unsuspended during your turn to tap to gain memory or to do something during their turn, during your turn, this will turn them off. So that's really, really cool. Also, it has during your opponent's turn, your opponent's tamers cannot unsuspend. So that's those 2 effects alone is already bonkers, right? Keeping your opponent's keeping your opponent's tamers suspended, so preventing them from gaining any additional value outside of their passive effects, on top of the fact that he can reduce his Digivolution cost for every single tamer tapped, which he already has a rule to be able to make his Digivolution cost 4 if he Digivolves over an Argomon. So all you need to do is tap 4 Digimons to make it free. But you can tap up to 5 just to be disruptive to your opponent's side of the board. It also has another effect. So it has 3 effects. The third effect is on deletion, you can play a level 6. If you have 4 or more argomons in your trash, you can play a level 6 argomon from your hand. And he has this effect of on play or when digivolving, which is very clever on their side in terms of card design, because now you can trigger both of their effects regardless of how this argomon is played. So he gets to play this out for free depending on the situation. Now obviously you don't want it to die because the inheritable is also kind of cracked. That's why I said that this card is absolutely loaded. It has so much going on this card. It does not make a lick of sense. This card is wild. I cannot believe they printed a card like this because of how many effects it gets. The last effect is the inheritable, which is once per turn, by suspending one of your rhythms, unsuspend this Digimon. And in case you didn't know, when rhythm is suspended, you get to draw 1 and gain 1. And she suspends herself whenever you when an effect suspends one of your Digimons, you may suspend this tamer. Then so any effects, so Digizorption, you can suspend her to gain a memory. So now, sorry to interrupt today's video, guys. I just wanted to make sure that we took some time to remember to hit the subscribe and like button. I know you guys are probably super tired of me doing this, but if you look at the stats, we have improved since I started taking the time to remind you guys to subscribe and like the videos. So I just want to make sure that we stay on that. I really do appreciate all the support and love that you guys have been showing. We are growing on this channel and I cannot thank you guys enough, so I just want to make sure that we continue to do so. All right, back to the video. Not only are you reducing your Digivolution cost by Digizorping, but you can also gain additional resources on top of that by gaining a memory and a draw just for doing something you are already going to do in the deck. That's bonkers, which is why she's a 4-cost tamer, right? Also, because she's a 4-cost tamer, she's protected from Machine Dramon matchups where they get to pop 3-cost tamers. All of your tamers are 4, so you don't have to worry about them being able to like easily remove your tamers. On top of the fact of if you happen to run into like a Black War Greymon matchup, they won't be able to pop multiple of your rhythms because she is a 4-cost. So they got to choose. Like, they got to make a conscious decision. Do we pop the rhythm or do we pop the Mimi, right? And the only reason why I bring up Black War Greymon is because they recently topped one of the regionals, I want to say about a week or 2 ago. So shout outs to them for being able to do that. If you guys are interested in seeing some Black War Greymon content, let me know. I'll try my hat in the ring to try to come up with a list that you guys would think is pretty cool. But yeah. A lot of synergy going on in this deck. A lot of synergy. So now, next, we have the original Argomon. This one was one of the first cards to ever get hit in Digimon. That is how good it is. It has the effect of Digizorption 3, so making its evolution completely free. That in combination to the rhythm, you'll get 1 memory and draw a card. Also, when attacking, you may play 1 level 3 Digimon from your hand, suspended without paying this cost. So you'll be able to get out a Kudomon. Obviously, you won't get this on play effect, unfortunately, because it didn't suspend itself by its effect. But you can get the Argomon out, which allows you to search the top 2 cards of your deck and then be able to grab some cards. This inheritable isn't as important. You're not going to be triggering it that much. But the Digizorption is extremely valuable, which is why you still have to run the 1 of in the deck. Yeah, that's pretty much it. The next card we are running is the Lilymon Ace. Now, obviously, you can't run 8 Argomons because this guy's at 1. So the Lilymons are the supplementary entry on this card. Now, what's cool about this deck specifically is that people are going to try to kill your aces, correct? And when they try to kill your aces, they normally do it by any means necessary. So if they are going to try to kill your ace, you can reduce the overflow cost because of all of your on deletion effects. Right? So Argomon plus this Argomon into a Lilymon makes the overflow only 1. Right? Or let's say if I have to be really greedy and go Argomon, Lilymon, Mega Galgomon, right? That's overflow 7, but we reduced it by 2, so we only overflow 5 for 2 aces. That's still really good value because you're going to be able to put something to the bottom of your opponent's deck, and you're going to be able to suspend 2 targets on your opponent's side of the board that cannot be digivolved over, which also gives you access to a dude that's going to be unsuspending during your turn naturally, and also just running over things with being a blocker, right? So just a lot of value coming out of this card, like a lot of value. Plus he also has reboot, so you know you can go aggressive with him and then the following turn still have a blocker on your side of the board. So just great value coming out of this card, which is why you run both of these cards, right? The Lilymon supplements the Argomons that you don't have anymore. Otherwise, you'll probably just run the 4 and 4 Argomons. But having access to both of these and having the on deletion line of Argomon doesn't hurt either, right? Next, we are going to go into the oh yeah, and by the way, the Lilymon doesn't have an inheritable. Again, this is before they started printing aces to have inheritable effects, so a lot of the early aces do not have inheritables whatsoever. So you know that's why I didn't cover anything in case you were wondering. Now Argomon from BT17 has a lot going on. So let's start from the very beginning. Okay, so on play / when digivolving, so you can trigger it by either one of these effects. You may place up to 4 level 5 or lower Argomons from your trash as this Digimon's bottom Digivolution cards. So what does that mean? These Argomons, guess what? They count. They're level 2s, right? It says level 2. It says level 5 or lower. So you can add these Argomons as well, right? You can add these Argomons, which, in case you didn't know, you get to stack all the on deletion effects on top of each other. So if you have 4 of these little guys in there, that's 4 memory if he dies. If you have these guys in there, that's also additional, you know, memory to be able to gain depending on how many sources you already have. So the cool part is obviously you want to digivolve into this naturally, because if you digivolve into this by itself and then trigger its when digivolving effect, you can make it give you 6 memory on deletion, which is crazy. Imagine getting 6 memory for killing my level 6. Like, that's bonkers. Even Phoenixmon doesn't do stuff like that. But like I mentioned before, this deck is very susceptible to de-digivolving or bouncing or basically any other form of removal besides deletion. If you're able to get rid of those cards, it does make this a lot less valuable. If you're able to source strip this, it also makes it a lot less valuable. Now, for every 2 Argomons in this Digimon's Digivolution card, add 1 to the maximum level you can choose to delete. So naturally this Digimon is able to delete a level 4 or lower Digimon. For every 2 Argomons that you add, you can raise that level. So if you already have 2 from the Digivolution, you can get 5. Then it's when Digivolving effect triggers, you add 4 more into there. that's a level 6, and then a level 7. So you can potentially delete a level 7 or lower. That's, again, just great value. Just so much value coming out of this card. On top of that, all turns, this Digimon gains 1000 DP for every 2 Argomons in this Digivolution card. So he's going to be, if you did the line correctly, you're going to have 7 Argomons in the source. 7 times, plus that 13 makes it a 20k blocker during your turn. Granted, it doesn't have immunity. It's very susceptible to everything that your opponent is able to do to it. It can still die, but it's a 20k blocker that if it does die, except by bouncing or de-digivolving, you get value out of it, right? So no matter what, you're always going to get something out of this guy. On top of that, he also has even more. During your opponent's turn, none of your opponent's tamers can unsuspend. So, similar to the level 5 Argomon, the level 6 Argomon is also able to do that exact same thing. So, really cool to see them being able to control your opponent's tamers. So those Shotos, the Mom Shoto matchups are a lot harder against this deck, because once you get to your 5 or your 6, you can prevent them from being able to utilize the Shotos that constantly have a 15k blocker, so you can get in some extra damage with the rest of your Argomons. Next, we are running the Mega Gagomons as just a supplementary 6. It's also just a really good card in general. That's a green Digimon that just does everything, right? Suspending Digimon, preventing them from being able to digivolve over. You can also do that to tamers to prevent any type of hybrids for game type of situations. And it's a 12k blocker reboot that can unsuspend itself. Like, do you hear how much it has? Like, it's bonkers. Like, this is the most insane ace in the game. The only thing that could have made this card any better is that it triggers this effect on play as well. It only gets this effects when digivolving. So that's the way to balance the card, right? By making it not do what aces normally do, which is gain some type of value out of being able to be able to trigger the on-play effects like most aces allow you to be able to do. So that was their way of balancing Mega Gagomon. But imagine a world where you can just slam a Mega Gagomon and just completely control the pace of the game. Crazy. Next, the highlight of the deck, and probably the best card in the deck, is the Quartzmon. So if you've noticed, we have been suspending a lot of cards in our deck, from Digisorption to suspending our opponent's tamers, right? What does Quartzmon do again? He suspends everything on the board. So eventually, we're going to be able to also suspend our opponent's Digimons as well, preventing them from being able to attack or do anything further with them, and also giving the added bonus of Quartzmon being able to trash your opponent's security based on the number of cards they have suspended, including yourself. So for every 5 cards suspended, you get to trash a card on your opponent's side of the board. And mind you, this is not once per turn. Now, before, they was not expecting a world where you can unsuspend Quartzmon like that. But do you remember what the Argomon that's a level 5 does? He has the effect of, once per turn, by suspending one of your rhythms, unsuspend this Digimon. So that means that if I have multiple rhythms that haven't been tapped yet, I can suspend it to get an unsuspend, swing, trigger the effect to trash however many I can trash, then unsuspend and do it again. That's value. And the coolest part, like I mentioned before, is that it's still a Quartzmon, right? So until they kill this Digimon, there is nothing they can do. Everything is still suspended on this side of the board. Nobody can unsuspend, even on my side. But at that point, I don't care about anything unsuspending. You have to deal with my Quartzmon to prevent me from killing you. Otherwise, you just lose the game. So, an insanely valuable card in this deck. And because it's a level 7, you know, you can just go over your Argomon that's a level 6 and start gaining a lot of value out of the fact that if they do kill it, you got 6 to 7 Argomons in the sources. On deletion, gain a whole lot of memory. So next we have the Defx. Obviously you can't just digivolve into this guy. You really just run him because he's Defx. There's no other way to put it. He's just Defx. So it has the effect, when you would play this card, reduces memory cost by 3 for every Digimon and tamer your opponent controls. So when you're going against wide decks and things of that nature, you can just Defx, de-digivolve the entire field, and then delete all their level 4s or lower on their side of the board. So just really good at being able to just help you be able to control the pace of the game. On top of that, you can just really start punishing your opponent for trying to go wide in a deck that's pretty much a single stack deck, if I'm being completely honest. The Argomon deck is definitely a single stack deck, so having the Defx really does help be able to slow down the game a little bit for your opponent as well. Next, we are running 3 copies of the Mimis. Mimis are going to be your memory fixture in the deck. So she's going to guarantee that you have 3 memory to work with, on top of the added bonus of being able to suspend herself to promote your eggs from the breeding area to basically be in a battle area to try to do the last little bit of damage in case your Quartzmon did like 5 damage but you don't have enough to kill. Cool. Tap Mimi, promote rookie, swing for game type situation. So she does allow those types of situations to happen, and it has happened to me a couple times in testing. So definitely still a really good card, all the way back from BT1. So that just goes to show you how good of a card design Bandai had when they created this Mimi, because it still sees uses all the way up until BT, what is this now, 18 that we're about to approach to. So insanely valuable card. Really kudos to Bandai for creating such a bonkers tamer. Next, we talked about her a couple times already, but let's go ahead and review the card. Rhythm. When an effect suspends one of your Digimons, you may suspend this tamer. And then when this tamer becomes suspended, gain 1 memory. Then if you have an Argomon or a yellow Digimon with Agumon or Greymon, draw 1 card. And then obviously both of the tamers have the security effect of you can play this card without paying the memory. So next we are going to be running 3 copies of Green Memory Boost, just more search power, and it also gives you 2 memory to work with during your turn in case you don't have enough memory to go for the lines that you want to go for, or just need an extra push to be able to do extra types of plays and stuff like that, like Quartzmon or something like that or whatever, so, or just set up for a Defx, etc, etc. So card still sees a lot of value in today's day and age, and I don't see it changing anytime soon. Next, we got 3 copies of the Adrenaline Training. Again, similar situation with the Green Memory Boost. However, this does only focus towards digivolving, whereas the Green Memory Boost gives you more memory to be able to slam your rhythms or other tamers that you might need to be able to play, so you can set up for those big nasty plays that I was talking about before with Quartzmon and Rhythm. Next, we have the one of in the deck, which is Hidden Potential, HPD. Suspend one of your Digimon on your side of the board. The next Digivolution cost that you would Digivolve into, that's, I believe, green? Does it mention green? No, it doesn't mention green. So if you had a way to be able to play this in another deck, there you go. You don't have to. You don't need a green Digimon to digivolve into from off the HPD. You can just suspend something on your side of the board, activate, and then digivolve for the reduced cost of 5. So your Argomon is free, your Quartzmon is free, your Rapidmon is free. So yeah, that's insanely powerful. Obviously, if we had more access to more HPDs, we would run it, but there's only one, so we can only run the one. But yeah, guys, that is my Argomon list. Hopefully you guys did enjoy today's video, and if you haven't already, please make sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons. We're super close to reaching our goal of 150. Hopefully we can hit that super soon, so then that way we can start trying to aim towards the 200 subscriber mark. But yeah, I'll try to get those duels with the Argomon deck out tomorrow for you guys as well. So if you guys did enjoy today's video, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. But this has been Zuki1, and I hope you guys have a great morning, great evening, great afternoon, and great night. But I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.